Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. My name is Mohammad Faizal bin Mohammad Fadzillah. My metric number is 2680067. I'm from group 8. So today I will explain about chapter 2, which is the theory of comparative advantage, and I will discuss about the specifics subtopics on the theory of comparative advantage, which is about the criticism on comparative advantage. We cannot deny that in this theory of comparative advantage that established by David Ricardo 200 years ago have give many benefits on world economics, in international economics, but we cannot deny that also there are unrealistic assumption about this comparative advantage, about this economic system. Okay, first unrealistic assumption or criticism towards the comparative advantage theory is unrealistic assumption of labor cost. Okay, what is mean by unrealistic assumption of labor cost? Okay, the most severe criticism of the comparative advantage doctrine is that it based on the labor theory of value. In calculation of production cost, it takes only labor costs and neglects non-labor costs involved in the production of commodities. This is highly unrealistic because it is money cost and not labor costs that are basis of the national and international transaction of goods. Second criticism on this theory is about the state assumption of fixed proportion. Okay, the theory of comparative cost is based on the assumption that labor is used in the same fixed proportions in the production of all commodities. This is essential statistic analysis and hence unrealistic. As a matter of fact, labor is used in the very varying proportion in the production of commodities. Next criticism on this theory also is unrealistic assumption of constant cost. Okay, the theory is based on another weak assumption that an increase of output due to international specialization is followed by constant cost. Okay, but the fact is that there are either increased costs or diminishing costs. If the large scale of production reduce costs, the comparative advantage will be increased. Okay, on the other hand, if increased output is the result of increased cost of production, the comparative advantage will be reduced, and in some cases it may even disappear. Okay, next is this theory also ignore transport costs, which is transport cost is very important aspect of international trade nowadays. Ricardo also ignore transport cost in determining comparative advantage in trade. This is also highly unrealistic because transport costs play an important role in determining the pattern of good trade. Like economy of scale, it is an independent factor of production. For instance, high transport costs may nullify the comparative advantage and the gain from international trade. Okay, number 5 is factor not fully mobile internally. Okay, the doctrine assume that the factor of production are perfectly mobile internally and wholly immobile internationally. This is not realistic because even within a country, factor do not move freely from one industry to another or from one region to another. The greater the degree of specialization in an industry, the less is the factor mobility from one industry to another. Thus, factor mobility influence costs and hence the pattern of the international trade. Okay, number 6 the number 6 criticism number 6 is two community model is unrealistic actually. Okay, the Ricardian model is related to trade between two countries on the basis of two communities. And this is again unrealistic because in actuality, international trade is among countries trading many commodities, and there are more than two countries in the world, and there are more commodities exist in the world nowadays. And number seven is unrealistic assumption of free trade. Okay, another serious weakness of the doctrine is that it assumes perfect and free world trade, but in reality, world trade is not free. Every country applies restriction on the free movement of goods and from other countries. Thus, tariff and other trade restriction affect the wood import and export. Moreover, products are not homogeneous but differentiate. By neglecting this aspect, the Ricardian become unrealistic. Okay, and next, unrealistic assumption about this theory is unrealistic assumption of full employment. Okay, like all classical theories, the theory of comparative advantage is based on the assumption of full employment. This assumption also makes the theory static. Keynes falsified the assumption of full employment and proved the existence of underemployment in an economy. Thus, the assumption of full employment make the theory become more unrealistic. The last point about the comparative advantage criticism is they neglect the role of technologies. Okay, the theory neglect the role of technology innovation in international trade. This is unrealistic because technology change helps in increasing the supply of goods, and not only for the domestic market but also for the international market. And wood trade has gained much from innovations and research and development. I think that's all my explanation about the criticism of competitive advantage, and thank you for listening my video.